G-Force, Vietnam.
Right, and you're the bass player for Vietnam.
I'm the bass player for Vietnam. When I play guitar, like with a Marshall amp, I just still think everything sounds a lot better when you're actually miking. That's what that speaker's for. You know, that's the magic, is that speaker. Not really to come direct out of here, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
That's just my personal preference.
I think as a general rule that's going to be true. I think you do it because you don't really...
It's hard to convince people in studios to do that. They always want the bass to just plug right into the board, you know. And that's fine, you know, if you're doing something simple, but if you're doing something a little more experimental where you have a little more atmosphere going on with your bass, then I think it's nice to capture it when it's happening and not try to add it in later. Well, I only play SGs, black ones. Gibson SG. I like them to be a little bit light. I find the older ones are a little heavy. Mine are all 80s SGs. When I play the SG, I like to use the box wah pedal. That's very vintage, like the Jimi Hendrix actually used. It's like from the 60s, box wah, and a rat or a big muff. I go back and forth. The big muff, I love the sound a lot better than the rat. It has a little more feeling, but you have to take out like 8 screws to put the battery back in. That's a little too much of a scramble for live performance. Of course, I play a Marshall stack with the JCM. It's the 900. It's whatever the slash signature one is. And
you're talking about playing guitars. You like them to be a little bit lighter, and you have a Fender bass hanging around your neck. That's
but feel of this.
This one's very light.
Very light. Very
it's
light.
Not like a piece.
There are some old Fender jazz basses that I have looked at in the store, like from the 60s, that look like Isaac Hayes or somebody played them, you know, or who's the guy, Bootsy Collins, you know, and they've got that nice blue-green paint job on them and stuff, you know, and they're just wonderful jazz basses. They're like 30 years old, and you know they've got all these ghosts in the machine, you know, all these people have played on them who could play anything, and you just know it's going to come to you. But then you pick them up and you put them on just like old SGs, and you're like, how can my chiropractor's going to have a talk with me about this. But this is a dream bass right here. If I could find another one of these, I would be really happy with a backup.
Why don't you answer your phone every time I call?
I love Daisy, and I love how they encourage young girls, and Tish Siravala, or I think that's her name. She does a great job, and I'm all for it. However, a lot of them are short scale.
They're short scale.
And some girls I used to play with in Baby Fat, I think they use some Daisy guitars, you know, and they seem to do pretty well with them. The guys who taught me how to play was like, don't even get started with the short scale, because then you'll have to change your ways later, and you might as well learn the right way. I played a gig one time with just a stick in a can with 2 wires strung at a house over in Cabbagetown with a bunch of local Chris Farine and different people, local luminaries, and I was a little scared when they shoved me up there and said, Laurie, now it's your turn to play bass, but those 2 strings, you can really do a lot with those 2 strings, even if they're just on a plank of wood stuck in a bucket.